What's up, everybody? I'm Flash. This is One Man's Opinion, the show where we cover just about everything. And today we're doing a dream cast of an upcoming live-action adaptation of Disney's 1997 Hercules, which was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. Thank you guys, by the way, for responding so positively to this idea. I might not have made this video if so many of you hadn't have told me that this is something you would be interested in watching. And so I really appreciate that, guys. Appreciate the support as always. And I want you guys to kind of play along with me as we go through this. Let me know in the comments below if you liked, which picks I made that you liked. Which ones would you have done different? Is there someone else you had in mind for these roles? We're going to go through some of the minor characters, and we're going to go through the major characters at the very end. So let's get right into it. And we're going to start off with the Muses, because that's where the story opens up. We got the Muses who are talking to us and starting to tell the story.
We are the Muses, goddesses of the arts and proclaimers of heroes.
And they sing, and so we need a group of actresses who can sing and who can command the stage and set the stage for the rest of the film. And I only cast two of the Muses because there's the one that's kind of like the leader. She's up front, she has most of the speaking lines, and she's kind of the lead singer of the group. And then I cast the other one who's kind of the bigger, rounder woman who has a lot of the physical comedy, and she's the funny one of the bunch.
Honey, you mean Hercules. I'd like to make some sweet music.
And the rest of them don't really have many speaking lines. They don't really say much. They're kind of just background singers. And so I didn't worry about casting them. So for the two main Muses, I've got Beyonce and Queen Latifah. And I think these two are very well known. Beyonce already has her connection with Disney live action movies through the Lion King adaptation. So that's an easy win for Disney there. Everyone has, Queen Latifah's been around for a long time. People really like Queen Latifah. And I think that those are two easy slam dunk picks for the Muses. If you guys have any other thoughts on maybe who the background singers might be, let me know in the comments below. Moving right along to Hermes. I have three options for Hermes, and two of them are kind of a tie. And so coming in at second place, we'll say, is David Spade. Hermes is kind of a fast-talking goofball. He talks himself into a corner a lot of the times. He just kind of shoots off at the mouth and runs around. And it gives me a big David Spade energy. Spade can really run his mouth. And he kind of sounds like Hermes a little bit. Tied for number one, though, and it really depends on how you want to cast Hermes. Personally, my preferred pick would be Paul Schaefer. And Paul Schaefer, if you don't know, was the original Hermes. He's the guy who voiced Hermes in the original movie, and Hermes is kind of styled to look like Paul Schaefer a little bit with the round specs and everything. I know Paul's a little older now, and so, I don't know if he would be able to bring the energy. I haven't seen Paul in a long time. I don't know if he would have the energy for Hermes. But it would be really, really cool to see him back in the role. If you wanted a younger person to be Hermes, someone who could obviously bring a lot of energy, someone who kind of is built like Hermes, and I think could slide into that role pretty easy, I'd go with Gianni DeCenzo, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but he's an actor that I know from Cobra Kai. I could easily see him giving off that Hermes vibe, zipping around the screen and just, talking a lot. I could definitely see him pulling that off, but to be honest, I had a hard time with Hermes because he's very, specific character in the way that he does things. Let me know if you guys have a better pick for Hermes down in the comments below, because I had a hard time with that one. All right, next we're going to go with Zeus.
Sound the alarm! Launch an immediate counterattack! Go! Go!
Gone, Dave.
This is Hercules' dad. It's got to be someone who's a little bit older, but who's completely jacked. I mean, Zeus really commands the room when he speaks. The first person that came to mind was J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons has a rockin' beard right now. He's also in great shape. And so I could see him wearing the toga. He really can get fired up and command a room. I just don't know if his voice is exactly right for Zeus, and that's why he's not a little bit higher on my list. I had three picks for Zeus. Number 2 coming in is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I picked The Rock because we've already seen him play Hercules, and so I doubt Disney wants to pick him up for Hercules again. He's already played Hercules before. And so it would still be cool, kind of a wink and a nod to the audience, to get him to play Hercules' dad. You could throw a white wig and a fake beard on him. I'm sure he could pull off the role fine. He's got the guns. Obviously, the dude's completely jacked. Easy to see him fitting into that role. He's a charismatic dude, and Zeus is fairly charismatic in this movie.
You want to slow down? You work yourself to death. Work yourself to death. So I kill myself.
It's not a super emotional role that he would have to play. He would just be able to kind of come in and have a good time with it, I feel like. And so I could see him doing that. Number 1, I've got Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is having a complete renaissance right now of his career. He's back in movies, he's back directing, and he's really on fire and making his rounds around Hollywood right now. The dude is in great shape. He's already got the big white beard. Give him a little bit more hair on top, do what you got to do to give him that Zeus look, but I think he's pretty much there. Mel Gibson also has a great voice for the role. I think he really commands a room. So, I feel like Mel Gibson could pull off Zeus perfectly. And also, let me go ahead and say this now. I don't keep up with Hollywood drama. I watch movies, but I don't keep up with celebrity gossip and stuff like that. And so if anybody on this list that I put down here has been, canceled for something heinous, I don't know about it, okay? So, I hear things from time to time, but I never know who's canceled because there's somebody new every day. And I would say at least half of those cancellations are for, really stupid, petty stuff that I don't agree with. The other half are pretty heinous and pretty vile, and so it's hard. I just stay away from it. So if any of these names are on here and you're like, oh, they did something really bad, you should not be advocating for them to get a role. Just know that I just don't know that. I didn't know. So anyway, yeah, I'm pleading ignorance, and that's my defense. Pain and Panic up next, and this one I have a long list, and I'm just going to rattle them off. And honestly, any of these combinations I could see doing this. For me, Pain and Panic's voices are so distinct and they're so different. I didn't go for a duo that could pull the voices off because I think these are two characters prime to kind of put a new spin on a little bit. Bring in a comedian who can bring his own flavor to this role a little bit. And so instead, I looked at comedy duos that I thought could pull off the roles quite well. And in no particular order, at number 5, I've got Jonah Hill and Michael Cera. Haven't seen these two together in a long time, but I think it would be really funny to see them brought in to fulfill the roles of Pain and Panic. I don't know why, and I don't know that Jonah Hill would do it. Kenan and Kel, I think, would destroy these roles. I think they would be phenomenal in these roles, and I know we've seen Kenan and Kel kind of reprise their old roles on SNL a time or two, or in a couple of other situations, but we haven't really seen them step outside of those Kenan and Kel roles to do very much together, aside from Good Burger. But we haven't seen them do anything much together in their adult lives. And so it would be cool to see them in different roles, but still getting to work together. They're such good friends, and it just really fills my heart with joy to see them together. And I think it does a lot of people. So Kenan and Kel would be awesome. My third pick would be Bobby Moynihan and Kyle Mooney. These two were on SNL together for a long time. It's something about their energy, the roles that they've played on SNL. They're both really funny dudes. I could see them both pulling off Pain and Panic pretty well. Coming in at number 2, I've got Key and Peele, and obviously these two have worked together countless times. They had a TV show together. They're good buddies. Getting into goofy characters would be nothing outside of the norm for these two. They're both very, very funny dudes, so I would love to see them. My number 1 pick for Pain and Panic is kind of an oddball couple, but we've seen them work together before, and something about their energy, I would just love to see them on camera again together. Jack Black and Kevin Hart bringing Pain and Panic to life and putting their own unique spin on it is something that I would sit down in a movie theater to see on its own. So throw Jack Black. They've been together in Jumanji, and so put these two on screen as Pain and Panic. I'm there. Take my money. I'm at the theater. All right, up next we've got The Fates. The Fates are 3 pretty minor characters. who are kind of sort of advisors to Hades a little bit in this movie. I saw online where someone recommended that this be Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, and Kate McKinnon. You'll know them from the Ghostbusters movies. They've been together on SNL a lot. These are three like really funny women who I think fill the roles really, really well. My problem with these three is that they're such big names and they're all so funny and such big comedians that I feel like Disney would be very tempted to give them way more spotlight than they need. You don't want the Fates to be chewing up a whole lot of scenes. You don't want them to be on camera just a whole lot. But like Kate McKinnon and Melissa McCarthy are going to riff and they're going to be like making jokes. And that's not really who the Fates are. They are a little goofy, like when they're batting the eyeball around a little bit. But like for the most part, they're not funny characters. If anything, they're a little creepy. And I think that these three ladies would be it would be very tempting to let them just riff and, you know, have a good time and be funny. But then they're going to be on screen a lot more than you want the Fates. Like, you're going to eat up a lot of runtime with these three ladies. Their names are almost too big for the roles, in my opinion. And so that's why I thought it would be much better to get Bette Midler, and I hope I pronounced this next name right, Kathy Najimy, I don't know how she pronounces her last name, and Sarah Jessica Parker. You might recognize these three from Hocus Pocus, which is another Disney movie. And I thought it would be really cool to bring these three back in. They each, I think, would very much appreciate this role. I think they would easily slide into it. They've already played these witches in Hocus Pocus, so putting them in as these goofy kind of fate sisters would be, you know, it would just another good wink in the nod to the camera, to the audience. I think a lot of people would appreciate. Coming in next, we've got Phil. We're getting to more of the main characters now, and Phil is an easy one. That's Danny DeVito. And don't you put anybody else in the role. It would be like casting somebody else other than James Earl Jones for Mufasa. You don't do it. You better cast Danny DeVito. Phil is Danny DeVito. Next, we're at our big three now. Hades coming in right here, and I feel very strongly about this one too. I did get three actors who I think could pull the role off, but to me, there's only one real answer. So real quick, coming in at third, I would say Steve Buscemi. Buscemi really has the look of Hades. I think he could super pull it off, put him in a little makeup, give him a little CGI. It's an easy slam dunk. He's definitely got the comedy side of Hades down. I just don't know if he could bring that intensity and that ferocity that you see from Hades from time to time. I know that Buscemi has been acting for a long time and he could probably do it no problem. I just don't know if he's perfect for the role. Coming in at number two, I've got Willem Dafoe, who can definitely bring that menacing side of Hades. He's definitely got the look. There's no doubt Willem Dafoe wouldn't make an awesome Hades, but he's kind of the opposite of Buscemi, where I don't know if Dafoe could add a lot of the comedy. There's a lot of little subtleties to Hades that make him a little bit of a funny character. And so, like, these two guys are kind of two sides of the same coin, where I think they both have the look and they both could pull off Hades. They're both fantastic actors. I have no doubt that they couldn't bring something special to the role and fulfill it and do a great job. But number one, the real answer is to bring back James Woods and let him rock and roll under Hades. He was the voice of Hades in the animated movie. Let this man come back and reprise his role.
We dance, we kiss, we schmooze, we carry on, we go home happy. What do you say? Come on.
Get that win, Disney. I'm telling you, call me Disney. I'm telling you right now, people have doubts about the live-action movies. Now, you're capturing the imagination of a new audience. You're retelling an old story in a new, modernized way, and that's hip and that's cool, and you're going to get butts in the seats one way or the other. That's all well and good. But if you really want to make money, Disney, take your opportunities to recast some of these old actors. Your Paul Schaefer, your Danny DeVito, your James Woods. Put them back in the movie, and all of a sudden you've got us that grew up watching the animated movies who are skeptical about these new remakes, and all of a sudden there you are, and you're like, oh, okay, they're bringing back some of the old talent. That's a reason they're not going to be messing with the formula. They're not going to mess up my childhood. That's a reason to put these older butts back in the seats and say, you know what, I will watch this again, because a live-action Hercules could really, really work. It's a kind of an action film. There's a lot you could do with this in a live-action stance. And so, like, there is good reason to do this. I'm down for it, but put some of these old actors who did it back in 97, put them back in this movie, and let's rock and roll. Disney, call me. All right, coming in next, we've got Meg. I've got 4 options for you, lightning fast at Meg. I'll tell you the do's and don'ts. Coming in at number 4, we've got Aubrey Plaza, who has the look of Meg down to a T. She's also got that cold exterior that Meg kind of gives off, that sarcastic vibe. Like, this is Aubrey Plaza to a T. My issues with Aubrey and why she didn't make it higher on the list is that I'm not sure that she can sing. There are a couple of videos you can find online of her singing, but it's more in a comedy way. It's not her really trying to a lot of emotion into a song. And when Meg sings that song, that No Chance, No Way, I Won't Say I'm in Love, like, that's an emotional song. It's really, really pretty. You got to have pipes.
No chance, no way, I won't say it, no. You swoon, you sigh, why deny it,
to pull that song off. So I'm not sure if Aubrey can do that or not. So coming in at number 3 is a girl who definitely has the chops, and can probably pull off the singing. She's definitely got the acting chops, but it's Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence can definitely cover the wide range. Meg is by far the most complex character in the story. As far as acting goes, you've got to pull off a very wide range. Meg has, again, that cold exterior, that sarcastic, but then she's like warm and mushy on the inside. She's actually a super loving person. She just puts up a front. But there's all these complexities to Meg, but then you've also got to be able to sing. And like Jennifer Lawrence is pulling off all of these things. I think she could knock it out of the park. My small issue with Jennifer Lawrence is that she doesn't quite look like Meg. When you're talking about finding that perfect cast, it's like you start splitting hairs. So who would be perfect? And perfect comes in at number 2, and it's really tight between this and my number 1. But number 2, I've got Zendaya, who really has the look of Meg. She's got the acting chops. She can obviously pull off that sarcasm, and she can sing really well. I think Zendaya would knock it out of the park. Also, I think it would be really cool to see Zendaya in a role where she's not playing a high school teenager. Like, it would be really cool to see her. She's like 26, 27 years old. It would be really cool to see her play an adult complex role to really show off what an amazing actress that she is. And she's right there tied with my number 1, Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick looks like Meg. Like, even to the eyebrows. Like, everything about Anna Kendrick looks like Meg. She's a really good actress. I think she could knock Meg out of the park. She's got the comedy chops. She's got the acting chops. The girl can sing like crazy. Honestly, I think Anna Kendrick is a slam dunk for the role. Let me know in the comments if you guys had a different pick for Meg down in the comments, because it took me a long time to land on the perfect Meg. And I think Zendaya or Anna Kendrick, either one could knock it out of the park. But I would be interested if you had any other ideas for her. And finally, we come to the man himself, Hercules. Who can play Hercules in this movie? I didn't cast a young Herc, but regardless, I've got 3 options, and my last 2 are perfect. Coming in at number 3 would be Jared Padalecki, who people really, really love. If you're a fan of Supernatural, people have been following Jared's career for like a long, long time. He was in Gilmore Girls when he was younger. He's doing Walker, Texas Ranger now. He's always been a television star, not much of a movie star. He was in the Friday the 13th remake. But Jared he's a big guy. He's really tall. He's really fit, really muscular. I think he would look great in that Hercules outfit. He would really pull that thing off really well. My problem with Jared is he's not like a great actor. Jared kind of always plays the same character, no matter what role he's in. And I don't know that he would be. You need a big name. You need a blockbuster name to fill that role of Hercules. And as much as I would like to see it, because I like Jared, I don't think he's the blockbuster name you need. And that brings us to my number 2 pick, who is honestly perfect for the role, and that's Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt even looks like Hercules. He's obviously ripped and buff enough to pull off the role. And he's got that like boyish charm to him. Chris Pratt has that boyish charm that you need with Hercules. He's kind of just a kid with all this power and strength who's just kind of figuring life out. And I know Hercules is 18 years old in the movie, or is assumed to be around about 18. I don't think you need to go that young for this version of Hercules. There's no reason to cast a jacked out of his mind 18-year-old for the role, because they probably won't have the acting experience that they need. So you're probably going to have to go older for Hercules anyway. And so, look, Chris Pratt, he was like born to play this role, but he's not who I need to see play the role, if that makes any sense. Chris Pratt's he's in a lot right now. Like, he's everywhere you look. And I think that there is a real thing that actors can get into, which is kind of a fatigue if audiences see him too much. And I love Chris Pratt, so I don't want that to happen to him. He already got a little bit of backlash for being Mario. So let's let Chris Pratt take a step back and reprise that Star-Lord role in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He doesn't need to be Hercules right now. The guy who really needs this job and is just as perfect for the role, if not better, is Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill, formerly Superman, soon to be formerly Geralt, is working on his own stuff right now, but it would be cool to see him back in a mainstream role. And honestly, the dude is such a talent, it would be a waste not to have him in this role. He definitely has the look. I mean, it's a slam dunk. Dude is just jacked out of his mind. Put this man in the Hercules outfit. It would be cool to see him play this role too and have a little bit more fun. As Geralt, he loves that role, but he also has to be very serious on camera. And the Superman version we got to him, thanks to the direction that he was given, was more of a serious Superman. And so it would be cool to see Henry Cavill get to step into this role, have fun with it, be this charismatic, boyish character, but also still get to knock some heads around in the action scenes. But there are my casting choices for Hercules. I know it was kind of a long video, but I had a blast putting this together. I put a lot of work into it, did a lot of research into who could sing, and that sort of thing. So, let me know in the comments what you thought. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stuck around. I know it was a little bit longer, but if you enjoy this sort of hypothetical stuff the way I do, I'm sure you had a good time kind of playing along, and hopefully you put some suggestions down in the comments, or at least told me what you thought about my list. I look forward to reading those comments down below. I'm not going to keep you any longer. I got more videos coming at you this week, reactions, movie review for you people, so stick around, stay tuned. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you know when those videos drop. I'm out of here. If you disagreed with me and you thought all of my picks for these roles were bad, don't get mad. Remember, it's just one man's opinion. Thanks.